Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a wise old man. People from all over the village would come to him seeking advice on various matters of life. One day, 4 young men visited the wise old man seeking guidance on how to live a fulfilling life. The old man smiled and told them 4 stories that he believed would be useful for life. The first story was about a young man who wanted to climb a mountain. He had heard stories about the breathtaking view from the summit and was determined to reach the top. He set out on his journey, but as he climbed higher and higher, the air grew thinner and the path grew steeper. He was exhausted and considered giving up, but he remembered the view from the summit and kept climbing. As he approached the top, the young man was surprised to see an elderly man sitting there, enjoying the view. The young man asked the old man how long he had been sitting there, and the old man replied, "I've been sitting here for years, enjoying the view." The young man was puzzled and asked, "If you've been sitting here for years, why didn't you tell me how beautiful the view was?" The old man replied, "The view is beautiful, but the real beauty is in the journey. You have to climb the mountain to appreciate the view." The second story was about a farmer who had a horse that ran away. His neighbors came to him and said, "We are sorry for your loss." The farmer replied, "Who knows what's good or bad?" A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it a group of wild horses. The neighbors came to the farmer and said, "Congratulations on your good fortune." The farmer replied, "Who knows what's good or bad?" The next day, the farmer's son was trying to tame one of the wild horses when he fell off and broke his leg. The neighbors came to the farmer and said, "We are sorry for your misfortune." The farmer replied, "Who knows what's good or bad?" A few days later, the army came to the village, conscripting all the able-bodied young men for war. The farmer's son was exempted because of his broken leg. The neighbors came to the farmer and said, "Congratulations on your good fortune." The farmer replied, "Who knows what's good or bad?" The third story was about a man who wanted to become a successful businessman. He had many ideas and worked hard to implement them, but he failed time and time again. He was disheartened and considered giving up, but he remembered his dream and kept trying. One day, he met a successful businessman and asked him how he became successful. The businessman replied, "I failed many times, but I didn't give up. I learned from my mistakes and kept trying until I succeeded." The fourth story was about a young woman who was walking along a beach. She saw a man in the distance, bending down to pick up something and throw it into the sea. As she got closer, she realized that the man was throwing starfish back into the water. She asked him why he was doing it, and he replied, "The sun is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them in, they'll die." The young woman was surprised and said, "But there are so many, and you can't save them all. What difference does it make?" The man picked up another starfish and threw it into the sea, then turned to the young woman and said, "It made a difference to that one." The 4 young men listened to the old man's stories and learned valuable lessons about life. They learned that the journey is as important as the destination. That we should not judge events as good or bad, but wait to see how they unfold. That persistence and learning from failure is key to success. And that even small actions can make a difference. As they left the old man's hut, the 4 young men were filled with a sense of purpose and determination. They realized that life was full of challenges and obstacles, but that they could overcome them with the right mindset and attitude. Over the years, the 4 young men went on to have successful careers and happy lives. They never forgot the lessons they had learned from the wise old man and continued to apply them in all aspects of their lives. Years later, when they had become old men themselves, the 4 friends returned to the village to pay their respects to the wise old man who had taught them so much. As they sat around the fire, reminiscing about their lives and the lessons they had learned, they realized that they had become the wise old men of their own communities. They decided to pass on the same stories and lessons to the younger generation, so that they too could benefit from the wisdom and guidance of those who had come before them. And so, the cycle of learning and growth continued. passing from one generation to the next in a never-ending quest for a fulfilling and purposeful life.